What is up, guys? It is Bucky and welcome to your, sixth Objective-C tutorial. And in the last couple tutorials, what we did is we set up the interface, which pretty much describes everything in the class, and we also set up the implementation, which tells the methods, gives them kind of instruction on how to do their job. And now we're getting to the last part of this program, and this is the actual program section that's going to have the main method in it. So I already told you guys the basics about the main method in a couple tutorials ago, so let's go ahead and build it. It's pretty much where everything happens. So go ahead and put int main, and this is parameters, and again I'm not going to be going over these. These are something called command line arguments, and we'll be going over these in probably like 20 tutorials, but for now just follow along. Int argc, and then char, and then a pointer to argv, and now we can go ahead and start building our main body. So the first thing that we need to do in main is some housekeeping stuff. We need to set up the ns auto release pool. Look at that, it already filled it in for us. And just go ahead and put a pointer to pool. And again, I'm not going to be telling you guys what pointers are now. That's a more advanced topic. So set this equal to, put your brackets and brackets in there, and put ns auto release pool, and then go ahead and put alloc, which means allocate, and init, which I'll tell you what it means in a second. So now we pretty much have everything we need to set up for now. Let me make sure that I didn't type anything wrong. Alright, we should be good. So now we can get to the heart of this tutorial, and that's creating objects. Now, like I said, an object is pretty much an instance of the class. So for example, we have a class called person already, and I belong to that class. That class is pretty much a classification for all people. Me, being Bucky, will be an object of person. So what we need to do to create an object called Bucky is first say the name of the class we want to use, and that is person. Now after that, what we need to do is put that weird pointer again that we didn't learn, and put the name of our object, Bucky, and then end your statement. So what this does right here is say, alright, we're going to create an object named Bucky, and it's going to belong to the class or classification of person. So now this object is going to inherit all of these traits: age, weight, and all these methods. But before we get started using those methods, we need to do a couple more things. Now that we have our object created called Bucky, let's go ahead and first allocate some memory. So put Bucky equals person alloc. And what this means is pretty much, hey, we got this object and we're going to need some memory from your computer, so go ahead and reserve some memory for me. So your computer will do it, and the thing we have to do after this is go ahead and put Bucky equals, and in your brackets put Bucky init. And what this does is initializes the object, or pretty much starts the objects and makes it usable. So now that we have a usable working object, we can begin using the methods that we created for this class. So in order to use a method in Objective-C, what you need to do is put brackets, and then the first thing you write is the name of the object. And my object is named Bucky. And we have a couple methods that we already defined up here. We have print, set age, set weight, and what print does is pretty much print out its age and weight. So let's go ahead and put Bucky, and the first thing I want to do is use this method called set age. So after you write your object, go ahead and put space and put set age. Now if you see up here, set age needs some information in order to work. It needs an integer value, which would be its age. So in order to pass in its value, as it's called, what you need to do is after set age, add a colon, and now it needs an integer value, and I'm going to write 23. So what you're doing is this: you created an object named Bucky, and you created its method called set age, and you passed in the value 23. So what it does now is it goes up here to set age, and it says, alright, you gave me the value of 23. So I'm going to take the age variable that you defined in my interface right here, and I'm going to set it equal to 23. Simple enough. So after this, what you want to do is you want to do the exact same thing for set weight. So go ahead and put Bucky, because that's the object you want to be applying methods to. What method do you want to apply? Set weight. And if you remembered when we created this method, it says, alright, you're going to have to pass me in or give me a piece of information, and it better be an integer. So let's go ahead and set that integer, set it equal to 350. And go ahead and put colon. And now what it's going to do is take that information and set it equal to this weight variable right here. So now we called these two methods, and we also passed in the information they needed so they can set the variables equal to those numbers. So the last method that we have in this class is this method right here called print. And the cool thing about this is it already has all the information it needs, so we don't need to pass it or give it any information. So all we have to do is, in pretty much now that Bucky has an age and a weight, now we can use our print statement. So let's go ahead and again put the name of the object and just go ahead and write print. And since it doesn't take any arguments right here, we don't need to put any extra data in there. So go ahead and end that, and once we're done using our three methods, you're saying, alright, that's it. But we actually need to do one more thing. We need to call a method on Bucky called release. And this is just good housekeeping. I think that your program will do this by default, but later on we're going to need to be doing this. What release does is free any memory that we borrowed to create the object earlier. So whenever we allocated memory, we pretty much were saying to the computer, alright, we're going to need some memory for this object, but we'll give it back at the end, I promise. So we did all the stuff we needed to do to Bucky, and at the end, when we were done doing everything, we say, alright, we're done with this memory, you can have it back. And that way we keep a good relationship with the computer, you know? So after that, we also need to drain our pool of memory. So pool, drain. So drain our memory for the entire program, not only our object. And the last thing we need to do is, since this main needs an integer value back, remember, whenever we return 0, it means that everything went alright. So if it finally runs all this, and your computer knows, if I get the value of 0 back, it means everything went good. So let's go ahead and build and run this and see if we get any errors. So it said it succeeded, and let's go ahead and run console to see what we did. It says, I am 23 years old and weigh 350 pounds. And that's what we wanted to do. So one last time, let me show you guys what happened. We set up an interface which pretty much describes every piece of information we're going to be putting in our class. In the implementation, we gave our methods instructions of how to do their job. Now in this main method right here, what we did is we made an object called Bucky, saved some space for it, created it, and now we called the method setAge and passed in the value 23. So what it did is it went up to this method right here, setAge, took that value of 23 and set it equal to the variable age. So now Bucky's age is equal to 23. After that, we put Bucky set weight equal to 350. So it went up here, took 350 as W, and set it as weight. So now Bucky's weight was equal to 350. And after that, we were able to use the print method. And the print method said, alright, I am variable years old and I weigh variable pounds. Fill in age and weight for that object, and you have yourselves a complete computer program. And after that, we just gave back all the memory from the object and for the program, and we returned 0, which means everything went alright. So that's pretty much the essentials of how to create a simple program in Objective-C using objects, methods, classes, and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. In the next tutorial, I don't know what we're going to be covering, but it's going to be awesome. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.